Good evening and welcome to TVC News. I'm Agnes Tuniga and thank you very much for joining us tonight. First, a look at our top stories. Tanzania, Seychelles explore new areas of cooperation. China, key source of investment in Tanzania.
China holds the #1 spot for bringing in the most projects and the foreign capital into the country.
Good evening. Once again, I'm Agnes Tuniga. You can also follow us live on our YouTube channel, TVC Online, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TVC Online. The presidential candidate for National Reconstruction Alliance, NRA, Hassan Almasi, vows to end water and power shortages across the country, insisting that the country should maximize on its natural resources to generate sufficient electricity and industries and homes. He made the pledge in Kigoma as he concludes his campaigning, asserting that his party is committed to turn words into action and not vice versa.
Watanzania maji mnatozwa mafuta ya generator.
Tanzanians are charged for generator fuel, diesel and petrol that they use to pump water. We have said we will give them free water because water is not poverty. We have no problem with water. The problem is the method of bringing water to cities. We say we will ensure that we install machines that use solar energy, window power, and machines that use hydroelectric power.
Tanzanians have been reminded of the importance of peace and stability as the nation prepares for the general elections on 29th this month. The call has been made by the Democratic Party, DP, presidential candidate Abdul Mluya in the Iringa region as his party concludes campaigns.
If you properly manage the operations of all our ports, which we will have improved, and they are operating in international standards, and if you manage the funds generated from tourism, which we will have promoted, it means that these two sectors alone can provide social services, and we will receive free medical treatment, free education, and employees will receive better salaries.
Ada Tadea presidential candidate George Gabriel Busungu vows to revive and work on the Mwanza Master Plan, which envision the region as a vibrant, sustainable and prosperous economic hub for the Great Lakes region and the East African community. He made the pledge in Mwanza as his party concludes its campaigns.
We want all young people with the ability to design things to be placed in the technology city so they can design their own things. Why do we want bicycles, motorcycles, and cars to be made in Tanzania? Even these electric wires to be made in Tanzania.
The Prime Minister, Kassim Majaliwa, has met and held talks with the President of the Republic of Seychelles, Dr. Patrick Hermine, congratulating the citizens of Seychelles for the decision they have made in electing him as the 6th president of the island, reinforcing Tanzanians' commitment to deepen ties with the island nation. He outlines the agreement reached where the president of Seychelles has approved the establishment of Joint Cooperation Commission, JPC, that will provide an opportunity for experts from the two countries to meet and coordinate issues from various sectors.
Kwanza tuanzishe timu ya pamoja wataalam JPC.
First, we should establish a joint team of experts, the JPC, to coordinate various professional activities. This team will bring together specialists from different sectors to thoroughly discuss and identify the areas of cooperation needed between our two countries. We already have existing collaborations in the ministries of education, health and defense, particularly in the prison services. We also share strong trade relations, such as in air transport and tourism. Therefore, this team should outline and identify the mutual needs of both countries in preparation for smooth implementation.
Earlier, Prime Minister Majaliwa met with the Secretariat of Seychelles Diaspora, who informed him of various investment opportunities in the country, especially in the areas of tourism, health, education, horticulture and tourism sectors. On the other hand, the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Kosato Chumi, assured the Tanzanian diaspora in Seychelles that the government is committed to serve their interests, commending Prime Minister's efforts to address various issues related to the diaspora.
We have already unlocked the various opportunities across the country and even in West Africa. For instance, we now have direct flights to Accra and Lagos with our ATC airline. We are also hopeful that this visit will create room to unlock even more business opportunities and partnerships in the future.
During the one-day visit, the Prime Minister was accompanied by the Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and East African Cooperation, Kosato Chumi, the Tanzanian ambassador to Kenya representing the Republic of Seychelles, Dr. Bernard Kibese, and senior government officials. The Tanzania Investment and Special Economic Zones Authority, TISEZA, says China has registered 1,635 projects between 1997 and June 2025, which are estimated to create 186,566 jobs for Tanzanians. The statement was made in Dar es Salaam by TISEZA Investment Promotion Manager David Riganda during an investment meeting between Chinese and Tanzanian investors who met to explore opportunities of cooperation where priority sectors emerge, including manufacturing, tourism, and construction.
Investment projects registration statistics from TISEZA show that China holds the #1 spot for bringing in the most projects and the foreign capital into the country. We warmly welcome investors from Shanxi province and from other regions of China to come and explore the many opportunities available in Tanzania, especially in the foreign sectors: manufacturing and processing of agricultural products, energy and mining, transport and logistics services, tourism and real estate development, as well as information and communications technology. We have also established special economic zones and export processing zones in various parts of the country.
In that context, it is advised that consideration be given to prioritize in tandem latent potential of the great opportunity which currently exists to leverage the rehabilitation of Tazara to become the anchor project for development and modernization of agriculture, which will be linked to agribusiness value chains with the use of practical lessons from Shanxi province. That will say practical agriculture development and modernization lessons in terms of how to employ.
Tanzania Investment and Special Economic Zones Authority, TISEZA, says Tanzania is the gateway to one of the largest markets, over 1.4 billion people, due to the country being member of the SADC and East African Community. Chinese ambassador to Tanzania, Shen Mianjiang, says the China International Airport Expo, CIIE, continues to open doors for business opportunities globally by connecting international companies with the vast Chinese consumer market, revealing that Tanzanian products have gained popularity in China's large and growing market. She made the remarks during a farewell ceremony for participants of the 8th China International Import Expo held at the Chinese Embassy in Dar es Salaam. Tanzania, where this year a total of 8 Tanzanian companies will be participating in the expo to be held in Shanghai, China.
This is the CIIE activity, and Tanzanians, as usual, are very active in participating in this important event. So far as I know, there are 15 companies with almost 20 people who are going to China to participate. Since the CIIE, the 8th CIIE will begin from 5th to 10th November of this year. So these exhibitors will arrive in China before 4th of November.
Representatives of the Tanzanian companies are expected to showcase products ranging from agriculture goods and minerals to textiles and art crafts. Aiming is to attract new investors and open new markets for Tanzanian exports, while the Ministry of Industry and Trade commends the private sector for taking an active role in showcasing Tanzanians' trade potentials beyond borders.
Opening the China market to Tanzania products and creating several new partnerships between Tanzanian enterprises and Chinese importers. Moreover, Tanzanian brand gained greater visibility and recognition in Chinese market, boosting confidence in our nation's capacity to supply premium, organic, and sustainable products.
Regarding the Made in Tanzania logo, we will be taking our products because we are already registered with TanTrade, and we got the trademark of Made in Tanzania, and all our products which will be exhibited in CIIE will be bearing the logo of Made in Tanzania. And with that, we'll be promoting Tanzania.
And the good thing is we are also the first Tanzanian company to take avocado to China and first Tanzanian avocado company to participate in this exhibition.
China remains one of Tanzania's leading trading partners, with relations expanding beyond infrastructure to include investment in technology, manufacturing, and culture exchange. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, Mohamed Hamis Abdullah, has presented the country's stand at the high-level session of the United Nations Conference on Cybercrime in Hanoi, Vietnam, on behalf of the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan. The statement was presented following Tanzania's commitment to join more than 100 countries around the world in signing the United Nations Convention Against Cybercrime at an event held on October 25, 2025 in Vietnam. Furthermore, the Permanent Secretary says the government of Tanzania will issue a special statement when ratifying the convention to ensure that its implementation takes it into account legal principles, national values, and the interests of the country. As the country prepares for the general elections set for October 29th, early voting is set to begin in Zanzibar tomorrow. Speaking to TBC News, political analyst Novatus Igosha says early voting is a special exercise that allows certain groups, such as election officials, security personnel, and others who will be on duty during the main election day, to cast their votes ahead of time. According to Igosha, this process is crucial in ensuring that all eligible citizens who have responsibilities on election day still get the chance to exercise their democratic right. He adds that early voting also helps to test the preparedness of electoral bodies ahead of the main polls and strengthens transparency in the electoral process.
This is a political and constitutional question. It's unique in its own way. We have to remember that Zanzibar is an integral part of the United Republic of Tanzania. However, it has got its own semi-autonomous constitutional rights, including its own internal government, in which Zanzibaris vote for the president of Zanzibar. They also vote for members of the House of Representatives in Zanzibar. And therefore, this kind of dual privilege and dual rights, voting first in their internal government, and therefore, after some time, they come to vote for the union government, elections is because Zanzibar is semi-autonomous. However, we must remember Zanzibar has a separate electoral commission called the ZEC, Zanzibar Electoral Commission. And therefore, sometimes it is to avoid what we call an overlap between these two commissions, the National Electoral Commission and Zanzibar Electoral Commission. Number two, it is to simplify the voting and verification of votes between the votes for Zanzibar and later on the votes for the United Republic of Tanzania as far as Zanzibaris are concerned. Now, there is always a question, why do they vote twice? Actually, it's not directly like they are voting twice. They are voting dual, and dual could sound a little bit like twice, but it's because they are having their own president, but at the same time, they are citizens of the United Republic of Tanzania, and therefore they have the right to elect the union president. They have the right to elect their own House of Representatives. But however, they are going to do that because they are an island with its own way of doing things since 1964. Sometimes people think that Zanzibar and the United Republic of Tanzania, as far as political universal suffrage is concerned, is like maybe Malaysia or the United States, but it's quite different. Those are federal governments. This is a very distinctive, unique system of government globally. There is no any other similar union you can compare between former Tanganyika and Zanzibar to date across the globe. And therefore, as far as Zanzibaris are concerned, they are voting as Zanzibaris. And secondly, they are also voting as citizens of the United Republic. That's why they start earlier compared to mainlanders. That's the main objective and the main reasons why they vote earlier. Now, to just sum up, I wish Zanzibaris a very fair and successful election. At the same time, I call upon fellow Tanzanians, especially on the mainland, also to go out and vote for the president, to go out and vote for members of parliament, because this is our right. It's our universal suffrage.
Voting in Zanzibar takes place tomorrow, while the rest of the country heads to the polls on October 29th. The price loose tea at the auction held in Dar es Salaam has improved from an average of $1.5 to 1.55 per kilogram, signaling a positive trend for tea producers. Speaking to TBC in Dar es Salaam, the director of the Tanzania Tea Board, Beatrice Banzi, said the price improvement is due to the quality of Tanzanian tea and an increase in tea demand in various markets around the world.
We ensure quality by making sure that both factories and farmers strictly follow proper harvesting standards so that we can maintain high quality and secure better prices for our tea. It's therefore important to maintain quality control right from the farm level to the factory and ensure that no farmer travels more than 50 kilometers to deliver their tea leaves.
Beatrice adds that over the past 3 years, tea production in the country has dropped from 45,000 tons to 22,772 tons in the 2024-2025 financial year due to the closure of some of the tea factories and effects of climate change.
Chai uzito wake inahitaji mbolea na maji ya kutosha.
Tea plant require both adequate fertilizer and sufficient water to maintain the right leaf weight. However, at the moment, tea has become lighter because although it receives enough fertilizer, it does not get enough water. One of the most valuable characteristics of a good tea is the freshness of the leaves, which contribute to the pleasant aroma, and it gives the tea the rich dark green color.
In addition, the director said the board's objectives are to ensure that production increases due to the continued opening of Tanzania's tea markets, where Tanzania currently sells tea in various international markets, including Qatar, Dubai, Oman, England, Japan, and the USA. The Secretary General of the Forum of Parliaments of the International Conference on the Great Lakes Region, Ambassador Dr. Deo Mwapinga, says strong parliaments build strong health systems, noting that governance and health are inseparable pillars of peace and sustainable development. Here are more details.
He made the remarks during the signing of Memorandum of Understanding between the Forum of Parliaments of the International Conference on Great Lakes Region in the East, Central and the Southern African Health Community in Dar es Salaam, aimed at strengthening regional cooperation in health governance, policy harmonization and health diplomacy across the Great Lakes region.
The FP, the forum that I'm representing, work closely with EXA to equip lawmakers across our 12 member states with the knowledge, tools, and evidence they need to drive inclusive, effective, and sustainable health priorities. Dr. Ntuli mentioned about the building of the regional center of excellence, of which we'll do the need on this. So together, we will promote gender equality, youth inclusion, and the use of digital innovation to make our legislative process more participatory and responsive. We'll also collaborate on the creation of the Regional Center of Excellence on Health Diplomacy and Governance, which will be built in Arusha, an initiative that will strengthen our capacity to engage in negotiation, evidence-based policymaking, and cross-border cooperation. The center that will be built will become a regional hub for knowledge sharing, empowering parliamentarians and health experts. I like to champion a vision of development that puts people's health and dignity at the center.
Furthermore, Dr. Ntuli Kapologwe, the Director General of the East, Central and the Southern African Health Community, says the partnership brings together the health and governance communities to shape evidence-based laws, policies, and investments that respond to the real needs of the citizens across member states.
This partnership reaffirms the fundamental truth that healthy people are the foundation of peace and prosperity in our continent. Through this MOU, we are bridging two powerful communities, health and governance, to shape laws, policies, and investments that are grounded in evidence and responsive to the real needs of our citizens. Your Excellency, we are all aware that diseases know no borders, from pandemic to antimicrobial resistance, from maternal and child health challenges to the growing burden of non-communicable diseases. These are regional challenges that demand regional solutions. To address them effectively, we must move beyond individual national efforts and work together to build coordinated, sustainable, and equitable health systems.
Among the key priorities of the agreement is the establishment of a regional center of excellence on health diplomacy and governance, a hub that will train parliamentarians, policymakers, and technical experts in negotiation, policy formulation, and cross-border collaboration. Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
Cameroon's top court has declared incumbent Paul Biya the winner of the October 12th election. Biya has led the Central African nation since 1982. The Constitutional Council says he received 53.66% of votes, while former early-turned-challenger Issa Chiroma Bakari got 35.19%. Chiroma had claimed victory days before Monday's announcement, citing results he said were collected by his party. Biya dismissed the claim. Biya first came to power in 1982 following the resignation of Cameroon's first president and has ruled the country since then, later benefiting from a constitutional amendment that abolished term limits. A Southern African Broadcasting Association SABA delegation met with SADC Executive Secretary Elias Magosi at the SADC Secretariat in Gaborone, Botswana. The delegation was led by NBC Director General and the President of Sabah, Stanley Similo, alongside BTV Director General Buyani Zongwani, the Sabah Secretary General Nomli Kangutwi, and NBC's Chief Commercial Officer Nico Muia. Here are more details.
The meeting between the two was to introduce Southern African Broadcasting Association and highlight its role in supporting SADC member states in communication interconnection, particularly in news coverage. They were here to promote the ease of doing business, which assists government to achieve strategic economic goals.
SADC focuses more on communication and visibility. A lot of things that we do, but many times they are not out there in the public. The common citizens are not aware of the things that we do. And that's where broadcasting becomes very crucial, both in terms of radio, but also television. So that becomes critical as well. And SADC always appreciates that support that we get from the likes of Sabah and all others that are assisting us.
The delegation from the Southern African Broadcasting Association have promised to generate news content that supports economic growth and job creation within the region.
As an entity, Sabah's main aim is definitely to try and give and tell the narrative as seen from our perspective as Africans, particularly from a Southern African perspective. Because for many years, for us in public broadcasting, we would struggle to get stories about Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia. We would get them via entities like CNN, BBC, and the works. But today we are very happy because since 2018, we've launched a news and current affairs program called Eye on SADC, and it's running throughout the region, where the member entities, public broadcasters, are all contributing daily stories. They get curated in Windhoek, Namibia, and then they go out to the rest of the region.
Broadcasting Services is a member of Sabah, and we are here today at the Secretariat of Sabah to come and present ourselves before the SADC Secretariat, because as a broadcast arm of SADC, they need to understand what we are doing, and they need to understand the challenges that we are going through. That's exactly that we have shared with the SADC Secretariat, the challenges that we are going through, so that they can appreciate and maybe help us in strategies on how to combat those challenges.
The parties have committed to regular engagement to eliminate bureaucratic barriers and ensure continued progress and fruitful collaboration in news content creation.
Bagamoyo is among the oldest towns in Tanzania, known for its deep history in the slave trade and Africa's liberation movements. Our reporter, Caroline Maleo, visited Coastal Town to hear the voices of citizens and how they are preparing to take part in the October 29th general elections.
Bagamoyo is a historic town that carries the pride of the coast, a place that holds memories of the past, some glorious, others painful. Once the main hub for the slave trade in the 19th century, this town stands as a living reminder of both endurance and transformation. Along the shores of the Indian Ocean, as the sea breeze sweeps across the town, we meet today's heroes, ordinary men and women shaping their future through small businesses and daily work. First, they told me about how peace and stability in the country has allowed them to go about their lives and earn a living.
We are grateful for the peace and stability we enjoy here in Pwani. It allows me to run my business peacefully and take care of my children. Peace is the foundation for economic growth. Where there is peace, the economy thrives.
Without peace, we cannot do anything. The good life we have today is because of peace.
Living in peace is a blessing because in some countries, people can't even run their businesses due to instability.
Regarding this year's general elections, They say they have listened carefully to the policies of different candidates and they are ready to make their choices on the 29th of October.
We will go out and vote to elect the leader of our choice because we have listened carefully to all their policies from start to finish. We should accept whichever leaders will be elected, from councillors, member of parliament, all the way to the president. Everyone should go out and vote, then return home peaceful and wait for the results.
Their message to all Tanzanians is clear: to never take peace for granted.
We have come from a peaceful background, so no one should mislead us or influence us to destroy our peace. We understand the motives behind such people. I don't believe there is anyone who will dare to disturb the peace and the unity of Tanzania.
Elsewhere, people are struggling, but here in Tanzania, we live in peace. We must understand that it is up to us Tanzanians to protect this peace, and if it is ever broken, it will be our own doing.
Our next president should continue to preserve the peace that was built by the father of the nation. Let us avoid conflicts and ignore misleading messages and online propaganda that could disrupt our peace. Once you have voted for your leader, respect the results.
Voices from the coast of history, reminding the nation that true freedom is not only spoken, it is lived through action, and that is voting on the 29th of October. This is Caroline Maleo, TBC News.
And that marks the end of our news bulletin for tonight. Don't miss our next bulletin in Kiswahili at 11 p.m. On behalf of the whole team, I'm Agnes Tuniga. Thank you very much for being with us, and good night.